I'm sorry if I just burned out like 8 seconds, but normally when I do these videos, it takes the 8-second mark for you guys to hear me. But I'm gonna go into an in-depth look at man coverage, and I'm gonna let you guys know what man coverage means. Like I said, a man coverage rating means basically the higher it is, the better chance you have of him reacting when the ball is thrown in his area. Yes, that is true. Now, I have a question from Sheila Ellison. I hope I said that right. I hope I didn't butcher your name. But this comment was put on my Attributes Explained video. Now, Sheila asked the question, not trying to be sarcastic at all, but on the man cover rating, you mentioned it's about the cornerback reacting when the wide receiver is close. I thought man coverage was how well or how tight he will play while playing man-to-man coverage. We'll really appreciate confirmation. Now, Sheila, I'm going to explain something to you. Now, what you're saying is that you thought it meant how well he covered. Yes, it does. How well he covered. But if that was the case, that would mean that you could right now place Tyrann Mathieu in your lineup and he would stick to a receiver and make sure that that receiver didn't catch the ball, right or wrong. That is what would be the general purpose of man coverage, that he would stick to that player. But Sheila, what you're failing to understand is that two things: agility, speed, excel matter a lot more than the actual man coverage, which is why a lot of people can go out and find who do great. Now, we're going to look, I'm not sure about the rating. Now, that would probably be one of the reasons why people bail on like a Sean Smith. Sean Smith cannot play man coverage. No, he cannot, because 9 times out of 10 he's going to be burnt. Just like this guy right here, Tyrann Mathieu, will get burnt by a lot of the new receivers. Now, what that means is, let's say you throw a slant and Tyrann Mathieu is a couple of steps behind you. Due to the simple fact that Tyrann Mathieu has a great rating right here. I think it's very high. I'm not too sure, but his spec catch is 70. That's very high. So that means if Tyrann Mathieu is a couple of steps behind you, even if you burnt him, he can trigger an animation to jump the ball. So how can I explain this to be more clear on this? Now, let's say right now Tyrann Mathieu was playing a speedster. Now, Tyrann Mathieu gets burned, but he has like 2 steps behind him. Because of his spec catch rating, he can jump that ball because he has a high man coverage rating. It's going to be his reaction. Man coverage basically means how they react to the ball, but also that can be triggered. That can also be triggered by certain other attributes. Now, in man coverage, let's say all of a sudden Darrelle Revis is in man coverage against a faster receiver. No, you're not going to be able to cover him the whole game. No, you're not going to be able to shut him down the whole game. But at the same time, he doesn't have the agility to stop a C route. He doesn't have the agility to keep up with a Deshaun Jackson, let's say. Darrelle Revis is always going to be toasted by Deshaun Jackson. Now, what I want you guys to look at is the #1 corner in the game, Deion Sanders. We're going to take a look at Deion really quick. I'm not sure where he's at, but Deion. Let's take a look at Deion's stats. Do you see that? Now, am I the only person who notices when you throw a ball against Deion Sanders, it's really hard to get like slants and crossing routes against him, not only because of his man coverage rating, but because he's fast. He has the agility to cover everything. So when you throw a drag against him, Deion jumps it. When you throw a slant against him, Deion jumps it. Now, he may not get every pick, but Deion always reacts to the ball. If you guys have noticed, whenever you play up against Deion, he makes amazing plays. I've played against Deion, and Deion can put his hand out there. Deion can jump a route. He can smack a ball. He can jump in. Deion Sanders basically is the best man corner in the game for a simple reason, not because of his man coverage rating. That just helps him react to the ball, you guys. It doesn't really mean that he's going to stick to you. He's sticking to you because of his speed. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are confused, like, oh, I thought man coverage meant how tight you covered them. If that was truly if that was true, that would mean you can come out and play man coverage with any corner in the game. That would mean that you can go out right now and you can still right now play with people like Tyrann Mathieu. That Tyrann Mathieu can stick to anybody because he has a 91 man coverage rating. That in reality, you can come out and you could probably use Richard Seymour. Could you? No, you couldn't. Richard Seymour, this version of Richard Seymour couldn't keep up with the receivers that were top of the game when he came out. He was just good in zone. Now, this Sherman, a 90 man coverage, but he's still a tad bit slow. So would you say that Richard Sherman couldn't play man coverage? Yes, he could. You have to factor in multiple factors when you're looking at a cornerback to play man coverage. Richard Seymour has Sherman. I'm tweaking out. He has agility. He has the excel to keep up with receivers. Now, the one thing you want to look at is not the man coverage. You want to know how much man coverage he has because that means he'll react to the ball. But you also look at other factors. Height and spec catch. He has about as much spec catch as most receivers as some of the lower rated gold cards. Now, what's that going to do for you is this. If you have high spec catch, if you just happen to be like maybe 2 to 3 steps behind a receiver, you're going to have high man coverage like a 91. You know what that does? It will make them jump the ball or it'll make them swat the ball. They'll be able to get their hand in. You know that little crazy animation where the guy just sticks his hand in and bats the ball? That's what you're going to get a lot of. Like right here, if Tyrann Mathieu with the 91 man coverage, with his ability to have a high spec catch, he's always going to be able to put his hand in between the receiver and the ball and bat it down. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want to see right there. Like, okay, so Sheila, if I can explain this to you, the things you want to look for in a man coverage is that man coverage doesn't honestly make you stick to the receiver tighter. What it does, it basically gives you, like I said, an animation. It gives you a reaction. Now, if you want to know what makes you stick to a receiver, you have to look at other factors. Like, okay, let's go down here and let's see if we can find a DRC. I'm not sure there'll be, okay, here we go. We're going to look at DRC right here. Do you see these stats? 95 excel, 94 agility, 94 speed, 94 man coverage. Now, let's look at the other factor right here, his height. This is why you want a tall corner, because he can actually, he can trigger animations. His height will trigger animations, and that's what you want. Like, he can't press, but sometimes you'll press and he'll get beat. But because he's tall, he's fast, he can jump, 95 jump. You see what I'm saying? If you can understand that more, like his 95 jump will basically help you stop a lot of things. Now, his man coverage, his 95 jump, his 87 spectacular catch, his spec catch, all that will play into it, that if he is beaten, if he gets beat, guess what he does? He triggers an animation to swat the ball. He triggers an animation to pick the ball. He'll probably even trigger an animation that lets you bat the ball out to the other receiver. So let's look at Darrelle Revis. Now, let's go to his stats. Darrelle Revis is short. Darrelle Revis does not have much agility, but he has excel. So I would say if you got Darrelle Revis with his speed at 88, with that type of acceleration, let's say he runs a 90. Now, we're going to look, his man coverage is 89. So that was pretty good at the time when he came out. But what you want to see is, does he have the ability to do the things that I want him to do? No, Darrelle Revis will never, ever lurk that pass. He won't lurk that pass because he does not have the spec catch. But he has the man coverage to swat the ball. So that basically means that if he can get in between there, he can swat it, but he won't trigger the animation to jump it. Like, can Darrelle Revis actually jump a route? I don't think he can. Let's see his jump. I can't find his jumping right now. Okay, right there, 87. 87 jump is not good enough to like say, okay, he's behind a receiver. Will he be able to make that play? No, he won't. So you come out and you say, okay, so Trill, who would you tell me to go out and get? I would say Jalen Ramsey's a good one because he has the speed to actually react. So you're not looking for anything but the reaction, the speed, the agility, the excel. Speed, agility, excel. Now, agility, when people go in and out of breaks, he can break down and go with them. His speed, what happens when he breaks down, he can chase them. Now, when he breaks down, his acceleration kicks in. So the higher the acceleration, the better chance you have of catching him after he comes out that break. You see what I'm saying? And play rec, if anybody tells you anything other than play rec, is for him to know run or pass. They're lying. That's all it's for, run or pass. It's not, he knows it's going to be a C route. No, they don't know it's going to be a C route. They don't know that. If they knew that, it would eliminate a lot of routes in the game. So play rec is for run or pass. That's all you need to know. Now, when you go out, you want to find another budget. He's a pretty good guy. Sean Smith, I wouldn't go after. Now, another guy who you can give a shot to, DRC is the legitimate answer, but the Chiefs corner, the other cornerback, you know, it's not Nelson, it's the other one. Okay, the Cardinals, Cooper. Now, take a look at Cooper. Cooper is legitimately one of the best underrated corners in the game because he has the speed, he has the height, he has the excel, he has the man coverage. You see what I'm saying? If you can understand that, would it be one of the better ways of saying, like, okay, so man coverage does make you react, but Trail, what I'm looking for is what does man coverage really do? It makes you react. Like I said in the first video, it only makes you react. It doesn't really mean how tight you stick to him, because how tight you stick to him is based on the player. You see what I'm saying? The man coverage rating just basically makes you react to the ball. And I'm still trying to find jump, a 91 jump. Now, if you get it right now, I know the video stemmed longer than I wanted it to, but let's look at the statistics that I gave you. Speed, acceleration, agility. Now, his agility is a little bit low, so that means that 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get beat on a few out routes and a few posts. But his jump is like a 93. So I hope that helped you with your problem that you had, Sheila Ellison. But that's the best I can give you right now. If you have any more questions about attributes or anything like that, you guys just post it in the comment section, and I will do my best to explain it to you guys and help you guys out. You guys have a good one. Catch you next time.